This one might ruffle some feathers. Possibly. Hi friends, how are ya? Welcome back to the channel. It's a Monday for me. I'm easing into the work week. I actually just got back from all of that travel, in case you missed the last few travel vlogs. They're all up now, so feel free to go back and watch them. I hope you enjoyed them if you did. I thought it would be fun to mix in a super casual, just like chatty hangout video. And today, as we get ready, we're gonna be talking about some unconventional things that we do in our marriage that work for us. First, I very much consider myself still a newlywed. Haven't even been married a year and a half. So keep in mind that we know nothing. In our marriage and in our relationship, there's some dynamics that are just so different than I've ever experienced in the past and in like previous relationships I've been in. So it kind of got me thinking. I love knowing that there doesn't have to be a way that things are done. You know what I mean? I feel like I was raised in a very traditional household and, you know, small town Texas, and you kind of just assume like, oh yeah, men do this oftentimes. I have always felt very inspired when I hear different couples dividing labor differently or just like integrating different habits and routines into their marriage and into their relationship that I hadn't heard of before that I take inspiration from. So I thought this could be a fun way to open the conversation and the dialogue, and like maybe y'all can let me know some things that have worked really well in your marriage or your long-term relationship down in the comments below. And we can just kind of inspire each other and learn from each other, and it opens up a whole new world of possibilities, a whole new way to look at things. First, I just self-tanned yesterday, so my body is such a different color than my face. I'm gonna try to mix several things together to try to get a foundation color that matches the rest of my body. So we'll see how this goes. But let's start off pretty simple here. The first thing that we don't do is we do not touch each other's laundry. I cannot think of a time that I've ever done Jordy's laundry start to finish. I've like folded his clothes before, and I can't think of a time vice versa. We don't mix clothes together. We actually have separate closets. We built him out a closet in his studio. That was his idea, and in hindsight, I'm like, brilliant. I love that. But we have our own laundry baskets. We do our own laundry. I don't touch his. He doesn't touch mine. I just feel like sometimes in heteronormative relationships, that can just fall on the wife a lot. And I'm like, bro, I wear clothes, you wear clothes, I work, you work. I think that that's a big part of it too. In our relationship, we both work, we don't have kids. I am really thankful that we've found a lot of things to do pretty 50-50. And honestly, we have different styles of doing our laundry. Does this look like the right shade? Next, this one is kind of hilarious. This actually came up recently. I was talking to my cousin and she asked about a double date, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna email Jordy about that. And she was like, email? Pardon? And I was like, yeah, we actually have this thing that we do, and it has made life so much easier to where if there is like a scheduling thing, any sort of like a task, any sort of adult task, a finance question, a budget question, a bill, a scheduling thing, a double date, a trip, a booking a flight, anything like that that is just kind of like boring life, we email it to each other instead of text each other. This works for several reasons. For us, this works for us for several reasons. First is, you know how you text somebody something, and then an hour later, maybe they're at work, maybe they haven't responded, you think of something else that you want to say, but you're afraid to text them again because like, what if they don't see the thing you asked before? And the thing you asked before is like pretty important and you want an answer to it. And then you start having like several conversations at once in your text thread. And then it's just like a mess because you're responding to this message and then responding to this message and then responding to this message. And then you can't even make sense of your texts. Does that bother anybody else? But also, it is so nice to have a space where you can talk in like a lighthearted way and then in a more like businessy way, because in relationships, in a lot of ways, like you're low-key business partners. You're running a household together, and it's nice to also have a space to facilitate like the friendship and fun little things here or there, or thinking of you, love you, whatever. So we have individual email threads for every single thing. We'll put like a subject line and we'll say, hey, flights to Alabama ? And we'll say, hey, I was thinking we should book our flight to Alabama soon. These are the couple options. Let me know what you think. And then I will send another email, or he will send another email saying double date on the 22nd. Hey, whoever asked us if we're free for a double date on the 22nd, what does your day look like that day? How is your workload? What time would you get off of work? What time would you be done filming? Whatever. And just send all of those emails to each other. And then it allows the other person to respond when they're in that mindset, when they are looking at their calendar, when they are, you know, kind of answering their emails, and you know that the person is going to respond to every question you ask because it's in its own email thread, and you're not going to feel like you're like bombarding them or harassing them because it's not going to their phone. It is honestly one of my favorite things that we do. It has made life so much easier. I don't remember how we started this. I think maybe Jordy just kind of thinks that way and works that way and started sending me emails, and I was like, wait, this is nice. And so I started sending him emails, and boom. Similarly, but different, we share to-do lists with each other. We have both individually been the type of people to like really plan out our to-do lists. We are also both, before we even met each other, pretty addicted to our Notes app. Just the Notes app that comes on the phone. It's a pre-downloaded Notes app. And you know how you can share notes on an iPhone and you can see like what each other has edited and just kind of see it in live time? We have shared each other's to-do lists with each other. And it's a nice way to kind of have a peek into each other's day, week, brain, kind of what's going on. We both work from home, we both record, we both make noise. For example, Jordy just wrapped up a drum session at our house, and I'm able to see, oh, he has that scheduled from 9 to 10, so I'm gonna start filming at 10. Really kind of streamlines the communication, and we both know what to expect. That's a very, very niche example, but definitely has been pretty life-changing for us. This is something that has been a little more recent, kind of ever since my break in January. I realized the death grip that my phone has on me. I realized that maybe I'm trying to focus, maybe I'm trying to relax. Either of those things, I will accidentally scroll TikTok and I'll blink and it will be an hour. And like, I hate the way that feels. It feels icky. I've really worked a lot on my anxiety, especially over this last year, trying to implement different things. And one thing that has truly made such a difference is asking Jordy to essentially babysit my phone for me. And vice versa. If I am wanting to read for an hour, or if I'm wanting to really, really, really focus and try to knock out all of my emails or whatever that might be, I have a little bit of just fear in the back of my mind that if I put my phone in another room, maybe my mom will call me because there's been an emergency. Maybe someone will need something pretty urgent. Maybe a video of mine went live and there is a technical glitch and I need to like fix it immediately because nobody can hear the audio. I don't know. All of these things are in the back of my mind. So I've started asking, hey, can I give you my phone for like 2 hours and you just keep an eye on it? If anybody calls me, let me know. And that way I can feel like, okay, if someone needs to reach me, they can still reach me. But out of sight, out of mind. I feel like this might be controversial because a lot of people really value their phone privacy. And I have been in relationships in the past where I wouldn't dare ever having my partner's phone unattended. Did come with reasons. And I'm not saying that there's always reasons, but it's been like just so different to have a partner trust you with their device and be able to trust them to take care of your device when you're gone from it. And that's such a weird 21st century thing. Okay, let's talk about finances. We have started implementing bi-weekly finance meetings, and that's not really controversial, I don't think, but we'll check in and we'll kind of like go through our credit card statement together and be like, oh, we actually have caught so many mistakes. So that's something I highly recommend, especially because we each have our own businesses and we'll have things that are supposed to go on our business cards because they're supposed to be business expenses. I'll accidentally use our personal card. He'll accidentally use his personal card. We have to then reimburse ourselves because it just messes up our whole budget. But we've started doing bi-weekly budget meetings and just going line item by line item through our credit card together. And that's been really nice to kind of hold ourselves a little bit more accountable to our spending. And it also doesn't feel like one person is going through the credit card statement and then nagging the other person about their spending because we sit down and we do it together. But the more possibly controversial thing that we do in that regard is we have a dollar amount rule. I actually feel like maybe this is something Dave Ramsey, I remember taking some sort of financial class once upon a time, and this was like a tip that they gave is if you are sharing a bank account with somebody, having a set dollar amount where if you're wanting to purchase something above that set dollar amount, you talk to each other about it before you do it. And if it's below that set dollar amount, then it's okay. It's not a big deal. So that could look like anything for anybody. That could look like $20. So if you're going to go out and get a matcha, like you don't have to ask the other person, but if you're going to go out and get like a lunch, then maybe ask each other. Or it could be $200 of if you're going to go out and buy a new shirt, like that's chill. But if you're going to go out and buy a Reformation dress, like maybe let's talk to each other about it. So that was something that we have implemented. We have our own dollar amount. And if it's above that dollar amount, we talk to each other. Sorry, I cannot do my eyeliner when I speak. I'm such an eyeliner girl. I feel like eyeliner's pretty out. I don't care. Rip it from my zillennial hands. I love a little eyeliner. It's probably because I actually have very fine eyelashes, very thin. And I'm like, it makes them look thicker. Anywho, where was I? We have our own separate business bank accounts, and then we have a joint personal I have no idea really what's going on in his business account, what he's making, what he's spending. He has no idea really what's going on in my business account, what I'm making, what I'm spending. Instead, what we do is we each have a payroll. This is something that you kind of have to do if you're going to be an LLC. We are an LLC, and with that, you basically have a payroll company and you set it up to where you pay yourself as an employee out of the company. So we know what each other's payrolls are, and it's just our own responsibility to make sure that our business is profitable enough to have our payroll hit every single month. And that's what we live off of. So if I am looking at my business and saying, oh, I have a little bit of surplus this month, I'm going to go ahead and try this one video concept, maybe a solo travel vlog that obviously is going to be a lot more expensive to produce because I'm going to buy a hotel room, then that is something that I decide. And I make that judgment call because I know what my business looks like and I know my responsibility of what I need to bring home in my payroll, and it's exactly same for him. And so that is nice in a lot of ways because we have a lot of autonomy, but we also have the responsibility of contributing to our household and our bills and our finances together as individuals. So that's like a very niche thing of both being self-employed. I do think that there are a lot of couples out there though that are both self-employed and like kind of understand all of the mental financial logistics that you have to do to think through you as a business, but also you as an individual that is trying to pay your expected expenses as a couple. Speaking of trips, something that I'm really glad that we align on is that solo trips are important to us. Doing things on our own are important to us. Obviously, he goes out on the road for work a lot, and so during that time, he's hanging out with guys, he's hanging out with friends. He'll also take a trip with his brother every once in a while and go do things that I would never want to do, like sleep on the ground outside. And I will go take some solo trips and thankfully be able to make fun content out of it and make it work. But I realized when we got married that people kind of halfway expected that I wouldn't be doing solo vlogs anymore because it makes sense. Like, why would you want to go do something without your spouse when you could do something with your spouse? And I totally get that. But I think doing things independently and just feeling like you are an individual outside of your marriage is something that I really value. And not everybody does, and that is so totally okay. But I am really so thankful that we are both very aligned on that. And coming back from being apart for a couple nights or a week or longer is really sweet and really fun. Like, it's really fun to miss each other, you know? I think it can be easy to start to take each other for granted when you're both just always around each other. So I have been really thankful. And I know that obviously travel is such a privilege, but even just doing things on your own, like a girls' night once a week without your spouse, whatever that might be, is something that I always hope to do, even in the future if I can't justify financially taking an actual trip. I'm glad that we do that. We do a lot together, but we also do a lot apart. But one thing that we always do together, and this is like become very much a non-negotiable, and I love it, is a coffee time every single morning. Like, we will not start our workday until we've had a coffee time together. And what this looks like is usually 7 a.m. we'll wake up, Jordy will go make a couple lattes, bring them into bed, and we sit for a solid 30 minutes. This morning was a solid hour. Sat for a solid hour in bed, drinking coffee, talking about our day, slowly waking up, talking about the dreams we had last night, just like really connecting. And doing that first and foremost before we jump into any work helps realign our priorities. For me, oh my gosh, it regulates my nervous system so much. That's something he brought up that I didn't even realize. He said, I've noticed on the days that we do that, the whole rest of the day you're a lot less stressed. And then the couple times that we skipped it in the past, like, you feel a little more like anxious and stressed. And I'm like, it probably literally regulates my nervous system. Waking up slowly, not being on my phone, not jumping straight into work and boom, cortisol, but like connecting and just kind of slowly waking up with the world. It is a non-negotiable, and it has really become kind of the sweetest part of the day. Starting your day off with that, I've loved it. Here's one people might find surprising, especially considering the fact that I love to cook. I would say we collaborate on 70% of dinners. 70% of meals we cook together. We kind of divide and conquer, which is really fun. Oftentimes he'll do the meat and I'll do the sides. And we'll say, okay, this is what we have. Let's make something out of this. I'm thinking of doing something kind of Mexican. And he's like, okay, great. Then I'll marinate the chicken like this, and then it'll be kind of cohesive. And it's like a fun way to create together, but also more importantly, to like lessen the burden and the mental load of cooking food, figuring it out together in live time instead of having to think through the recipes for the whole week. So great. I don't know if that will change when we have kids. I can imagine that like you have to kind of plan things a little bit more, but we kind of have our staples that we buy at the store, and then whatever's in season, we'll get a couple fun things. And then we always have butcher box meat in the freezer. So we'll just kind of like wing it every night, but we'll do it together, and it is so fun. Both cook together, both clean together, and it's a way to hang out. It's a way to hang out and also feel pride in our food and also just kind of play. Food is creative, and so I love getting to just not have too firm of a plan and figure it out together. Oh, my mascara was not dry enough to do that. Here's a controversial one, probably. I don't know. I pay all the bills. I am bill girl. I don't know. It's something I'm good at. It's something that doesn't bother me at all. And I just like knowing that all the bills have been paid. I like knowing what they were, kind of keeping tabs on things, especially bills that fluctuate, like our electrical bill or whatever that might be. Now we have solar, so now it's a lot more predictable. But that's something that I do and that I do enjoy doing. And lastly, I wrote that chore days. So we have kind of our expected like common chores. Like for example, he does all of the recycling. He takes the cardboard to the recycle center. He goes and gets all of our Carlsbad water. He does things like that. And then I typically do like the vacuuming, the dusting, like the more nitty gritty clean. But then we have chore days. Usually we'll do this on a Saturday morning. And what we'll do is we will share yet again a list on our notes app. We love that notes app. That notes app is the best. And with this notes app, we kind of divide and conquer. So we do exactly like my notes look for this video, a notes app like this with the bullet points. And as soon as you finish your task, you check it off, you see what else hasn't been checked off, and then you just choose the next one. And we both go back and forth and we just choose random things and check them off until, oh, there's nothing left to check off. Cool. Chore day done. Let's hang out and do something fun. And that has been helpful. Kind of similarly, something that we do if we're like going to the grocery store together, when we walk into a grocery store or whatever sort of like errand we're doing together, we ask each other, is this a date or is this a mission? Because if we're here for efficiency, we're going to divide and conquer. But sometimes I'm in the mood of like, I want to hold your hand and walk through the aisles and spend time with you and talk with you. Then we will go into it saying, oh, okay, this is a date. We're not going to worry about dividing and conquering. We're not going to worry if it takes us twice as long to get our groceries today. It's a date. And being on the same page about that before we do something, especially running errands, is I've found really helpful. Because in the beginning we had a couple misunderstandings where I was like, oh, I'm so excited to spend time with you. And then he would zoom off and go get the next thing that we need. And I'd be like, bro. And then other times I would zoom off and he'd be like, bro, what? It's nice to be on the same page about that. Those are just some little things that we do that might be normal. I don't know, you let me know. It might be a little bit unconventional and it might be controversial. And I'm so excited, honestly, to continue growing and learning all these sorts of things together. Even just last night, what were we doing? Oh, we watched a 20-minute show before bed. We never watch TV. And we were like, 20 minutes right before bed, like a little quick show? That's actually kind of fun. Like that could be how we like watch something from time to time. And I was like, I love that we're like learning little things. And like, I can't wait to see how much better life gets when we like learn more little kind of like hacks of how to just optimize our day, optimize our time together, optimize the things that we have to do, and then the things that we get to do. And cheers to growing and learning and coexisting with another human, because like it's a constant adventure coexisting with another human being. But those are some things that have really worked for us, and I'm glad that we've incorporated them. So I'm excited to read what has worked for y'all, and thank you for getting ready with me today. Off to film the next thing, and I have some fun videos coming up super soon. So if you enjoy hanging out and if you're not subscribed, I would love to hang out more. Feel free to subscribe. No pressure, never any pressure, but that helps me kind of stay in your notifications feed if you want to see what else I got going on soon. I love you guys. I hope you have the best rest of your day, and I will see you in another video very soon.